Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa. Thank you so much for stopping by and clicking on the video. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And to all divine feminines within the sound of my voice, happy Mother's Day to you. I'm sitting here. I'm going to have to get this out of the way for a bit, but I just had to. Like I said, I'm a hermit, so I don't have nobody to share this with but you. But I am pleased as punch. My son and his wife sent me flowers. They're stationed overseas. But he still saw to it that I got flowers for Mother's Day. And all of the children always reach out to me, but I definitely appreciate the effort. So, Sergeant McCollum, thank you so much. I love you so much, son. I thank God for you and thank you for your service, sir. I'm so very proud. Now, that said, I'm going to get them to where I can see them, but I'll go get them out the way so we can get some work done here. So, we're going to I wanted to pull some cards for the Divine Feminines today. I mean, of course, all divine masculines are welcome to stay, please, especially if you are in support of or in search of a divine feminine. This message can be beneficial to you as well, but we're just going to give a little extra TLC and lovey love to the feminines in the house. So, yeah, definitely enjoy. Let me get over here and get myself situated. And we're going to get on in here. Let me get a little sage going. And of course, I'd like to call in our guides, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Metatron. I ask that you be with us now and provide protection as well as direction to this reading. Allow me to be a clear channel for you and speak clearly the messages you would have the viewers receive. Ningishita, as well as Nin Herzog and Lord Inky, I ask your presence and guidance as well. Ashe. Okay. Now, all that time, my sage is not trying to avoid burning my fingers, and instead is not lighting the sage. Like, look at here. Sage is hard enough to light anyway, but today it was not wanting to cooperate. Imagine that. Here we go. A little bit. There we go. Okay. And I hope everyone out there in Tarot land and beyond is doing well and happy today. And we're going to call in some of the divine feminines to see who's going to preside over this reading. Most of the decks that I've chosen today are kind of feminine energy centric as well. Like I said, and tarot doesn't have any gender, so normally they can apply to males that are carrying the divine feminine essence as well. But in light of Mother's Day, I'm primarily addressing female divine feminines. Kuan Yin is here. Forgiveness. Who is that? I can't even see where the card went. That's crazy. Are you kidding me? What in the world? I genuinely cannot see the card. It must be standing up on the side or something in a weird way. Oh, here it is. And it was literally standing up. Pachamama, Mother Nature and grounding. Wow, okay. They say the cards that hit the floor speak the loudest, and it didn't hit the floor all the way. I actually have a box underneath here that I was kind of using as a prop for my power box to do the lights. But yeah, Pachamama is here along with Kuan Yin. Beautiful, beautiful. Not a bad way to go into this reading. Now let's see what the African goddesses got to say. Who wants to come out and speak here? Ooh. Wait a minute now. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, we have We have a mess there. Umbuya Nahanda, Radical Rebirth, along with a TT, Worthiness. Oshun, Fearless Love. And Ma'at, Giving and Receiving. This ain't just divine feminine energy. In the midst of this radical rebirth with these heavy hitters coming out here like this feels like stepping into your goddessy, like for real. Let's keep going and see what the cards got to say. I love that. And next we're going to look at the healing waters. Oh, wait a minute. Now this is weird because I'm going to take this from the Ascension deck. It's actually in a whole separate section from where I keep these cards, but this card was stuck to the back of the healing cards, and it's creation, inception, Genesis, manifestation. That might be important there. Let me see what else we get out of this deck. What in the world? You know what? Me and these dive bombing cars, though, it's like, whoa, structure, see what I told you? Build a strong foundation with this manifestation, radical rebirth. There's an inception happening here. You, divine feminine, are about to go through another rebirth. Yeah, you may be wherever you're at in your spiritual journey. I'm not here to judge, and I'm not saying whether it's low or high because there's always levels to this shit, like Meek Mill say. So wherever you at, put your seatbelt on because you're about to go through another level of transformation and ascension. Ceremony is here. Ritual, celebrate, devotion. So if you've been tending to your rituals, maybe that's why that's happening. I don't know. But whatever it is, looks like it's going to be a lot. Okay. And now we're going to the healing waters. Whew. Okay, that was a few that came in there together, so we're going to take a peek at that. We have here the wellspring. What are you thirsty for? Body care. Take a breath. And I think that is oftentimes we get so busy, and especially as mothers, or even if you're not a physical mother, a divine feminine is constantly birthing ideas and all that. We're taught that we need to be useful. We've got to be productive. We're always on the go. Do, go. We got to. And especially in America, where a lot of women, in order to the life we live in, we truthfully don't truly get to embrace feminine energy the way we should. In this culture, in US culture, oftentimes femininity is equated with sexuality or sexiness, and it has nothing to do with that. And our true femininity gets pushed to the background because we're out there having to hold it down in corporate America or raising children, and whether we're single parents or career parents or whatever, we're all of those types of things. In fact, traditional stay-at-home wives kind of get looked down upon in this culture, and we live in a culture that fosters and praises toxic masculinity in its females. Women out there constantly talking about what's wrong with men and toxic masculinity and whatever they're talking about in the war between the sexes. But the main thing that I see that's wrong with it in there is, yeah, there is some feminization of men, but more so than that, there is a masculinization of women to the point that they start wanting to be equal with men in everything, and then they want to stand toe to toe with men in relationship stuff, and they become so toxically masculine that men don't really want that. I'm just calling it like I see it. But as we enter into this next level of ascension, Spirit is saying, take a breath, slow down, do the body work, Go into this period of rest and welcome it in. Then we have the mist. Trust your inner compass, be led from within. Ride the waves, life lessons, and growth. You will get through this. And let it go. Release the past, forgive, soften, move forward. This part is huge. This is a part of our healing, I think, that keeps a lot of us trapped or stuck longer than we need to. Because it's easy for us to say, well, I cut off the karmic and I did this and that and the karmic and I let it go. And there's still, and I hear it all the time in the spiritual community, people, especially when it comes to relationship stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong, because it's a natural tendency, especially if you're in a position or in a situation where you start being asked to recall things of your past or things you had to go through in healing. It's truthfully part and parcel of the dark night of the soul. And doing our shadow work, we start remembering those things and the people that hurt us and all those sorts of things. But in doing so, there's a very sharp razor blade edge of pain that we walk along that makes it very hard to, we can say we forgive, but it's also we forgive, but it's still kind of sort of holding a grudge. And you hear it start coming out in the way we talk about the situations or about those people. And again, I get it. I think that's one of the reasons Abraham Hicks recommends, talks about that 17 seconds of focus. And truthfully, the way things are sped up, they said it's now 16 and a half. So if you got to face those unpleasant topics, do so quickly. Get in and get out. Because if you hold into that negative space too long, it'll take you right back there. It will. But we have to learn to let some of that go. And one of the things, I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, and one of the things I'd like for you to consider, because I have to consider it as well. I did a reading, I think it was last night, about the karmics, when karmics spin the block. And I may change the title because it is a little misleading. I asked the question about the karmics because I had a karmic spin the block, and I've heard a lot of other people say that that happens too. When you're at the end of a cycle and getting ready to go into another one, like a graduation into another level of ascension, it's very common for all of your karmic lessons to spin the block or show back up. So that didn't surprise me. I just wanted to know if Spirit had a message for me regarding that, because the interaction was super limited. I just thought it was weird because after all of this time and me telling him we're done, there's no need for you to contact me anymore, he called me at like 1:30 in the morning talking about will I do a reading for him. Now, obviously, hell no. Like I said, you don't want me to read you. And even if you did, you don't want nothing from me at 1:30 in the morning. We're not playing them kind of immature games no more. This man and I have been exes for 30 years. We ain't got nothing between us but our kids. So it was just some weirdness. I don't know what he say what was going on with his energies and stuff. However, it also made me think after the fact why it is that so many of my karmics still want to be friends, still want to hang in that energy. And again, I'm not bragging on myself, but I know it's because I realized in my healing, I had to let go of the animosity. I couldn't hold a grudge. And because I genuinely forgave them and kept it light, and from time to time, if they reach out or whatever, especially the ones I have children with, I'm not going to be nasty. We can still have a conversation and stuff. I just don't get involved for long periods of time with them, because they be done messed around and said some slick stuff that put me in a weird headspace, and it's easy for me to get back to negative spaces I don't need to be in, and I understand that. But because I deal gently with them for my sake, they still want to be friendly and still feed off that energy. And no, we can't go that far. Now, truthfully, if he had been sincere and needing a question asked or sincere about wanting a reading, I would make arrangements to do that. I can do that. That's the main reason I don't block them off my channel. I know quite a few of my former friends, exes, whatever, as long as they stay in the background and leave me alone. I do my energy work and my cleansing. I've done my cord cuttings and stuff, but I don't necessarily block them because spirit told me not to. It's when karmic or cooperative when karmic cooperative components meet up together, it's uncomfortable for us as we're learning that lesson. Oh, it hurts, just like my knuckles sitting here scraping each other. It hurts because we are learning karmic lessons. But as we learn that lesson and let go, especially the one that's healing and becoming spiritual, you can wish them well, give them love, and gently let go and just distance yourself, because you come to realize that pain of that karmic lesson is often what catalyzed you to a tower moment or a pain point that catalyzed your spiritual growth. That painful situation is what drove you to ask the question, to allow spirit in, to begin to work in your life, to lead you to the answers that led you to the healing that got you here. Like Gandhi said, I thank those who caused me pain, for they are my teachers. And that was truthfully the lesson of the reading from yesterday as well. And we're seeing it here again. Release the past, forgive, soften, and move forward. And very often, not only are you doing it for your sake, but let's face it, most of the folks that are karmic and cause us so much grief, the only reason it hurts is because at once upon a time we loved them, whether it's relatives, friends, co-workers, or romantic. The only reason they could cause us that much pain is because we loved them. So even though we had to put some distance between them for our own healing because we identified them as karmics and they chose not to heal and ascend and grow with us, we grew apart. It's that kinder, gentler focus towards them that may, I can't promise it will, but it just may catalyze growth and healing and ascension in them. I know for a fact all of my exes are better off for having known me than not. That's why they all want back in my energy. And several of them have told me that. They apologized for the ways that they treated me in the past. They know there's no chance of a reconciliation, but it focused them towards something. I got one that was out there doing all kinds of craziness and truthfully very unhappy at one time. Now, again, I don't stay in contact, so I don't know what they got going on now. But the last time I spoke with him was beginning to meditate, was starting to listen to Abraham and Esther, and they like listening to was it David Watson, different things on their own. I didn't think I was doing anything. I was just doing me, trying to learn. But they got exposed to enough of that when they got ready to stop clowning, they remembered some of that stuff and went back to it. So the things that I was doing actually benefited them too. And hopefully whoever they with now, they, like I said, maybe they found a healthier relationship. They grow too. Anywho, let's get on here. We're going to get in with, well, actually, I said I was going to pull some Priestess of Light. And then we're going to get into the tarot. Oh, that's 3 cards right there. Guess I could stop. Adjustment, looking back, moving forward. Go with the flow, letting go, cleansing, receiving. Again, wow. Idyllic times, the garden, paradise. Yeah. Spirit is saying you got to let go of this stuff in order to welcome in that which you are manifesting, that beautiful thing that you've been wanting and wanted to call in, and it ain't coming, and you waiting and it still ain't coming, and you don't know how, and you still ain't coming because you're still something in your energy that you got to let go. You've learned the lesson. You might as well stop chewing the gum. All the flavor is out of it. There's also a component that I gotta mention here, and I'm not saying that you're doing it, but I have to mention it because it came to mind. And I was talking to, like I said, a friend of mine, and thinking about somebody very near and dear to me that I love, that I know has done this. Very often, when we hold on to our pain points and we can't let go, and we keep rehashing it and we can't let go, we begin to rewrite that past in a negative way that was more than what it actually was. And in our minds, it absolutely went down as horribly as we thought it did. Don't nobody else that participated in it remember it that way. But we continue because we can't let go of the pain. We keep rewriting it and keep rewriting it and keep rewriting it that same painful way, so that instead of time healing all wounds, in those cases, time makes the wound deeper because we're remembering it with a skewed memory based on our perception of and holding on to pain unnecessarily. We box ourselves into a painful past that nobody else remembers happening that way. And it's so real for us. And guess what? On the quantum nature of the way things happen, it becomes that reality. You basically rewrote your past instead of taking the chance or the opportunity to write it into a more peaceful past to move forward. You lock yourself in a prison of pain by rewriting that past even more painfully each time. You don't even realize it happens so subtly. You think you're just remembering the facts. But they've proven by the game of telephone and witness statements and all of that, our brains don't work that way. Very often do we remember all of the facts exactly as they happen. And if you're holding on to a perception, a willingness to hold on to anger and blame, especially if you put an anger and blame on everybody else outside of you, you'll rewrite a negative drama that is severely worse than what actually happened, and that becomes your new reality. Don't do that to yourself. Spirit is telling you let go and heal so you can get the loot that you've been trying to manifest for the longest. The Nine of Swords is here. See, Nine of Swords is 100% unnecessary worry and angst. Nine of Wands is real burden, having to be resilient. Nine of Swords is just being stuck in your mind about that which you cannot change from being stuck in your mind. It's a vicious cycle. Spirit says cut it out. What else do we have here? The Sovereign. This is the Emperor. Yeah. Wait a minute. The Emperor, I believe. We're going to read that one from the book. I pulled the Goddess of Love because it does go into a lot of the goddesses energy. So I want to pull this information from, and we're going to look at the book, but I want to pull the cards first. We have the Crone of Cups here. So that would be typically the King of Cups, but here it's referred to as the Crone. So there's a relationship or something emotional here, and you're asked to stand in your emotional sovereignty. And you got plenty of choices. You've been planting these seeds for a long time. Seven of Pentacles here. Spirit is telling you it's time for harvest, but it cannot harvest until you let go. You're putting the wrong kind of fertilizer on it, and we got to let it go. Look here. Yep, Two of Cups. And again, they're partly naked, so I can't show it all the way. I love the meanings on this deck, but there is quite a lot of goddess nudity here, so we can't get into everything. Whoa. The High Priestess is here. The Ten of Wands. The Two of Swords. And the Eight of Wands. Yeah. You definitely got to let go of this. You got to. Ten of Wands is burden. And I'm not knocking nobody's journey or saying that it wasn't real or the concerns weren't real. And Spirit isn't saying that either. They're just saying it's time to let it go. Especially if you somewhat moved on past it anyway. You know that these people or this situation or this job or whatever it's done with. You're not going to have that back in your life. And most of us don't even want to go back that route. But we got to let go of the pain and truthfully do that last layer of inner work and healing so that we can move past it and get what's supposed to be coming. I want to pull one more from here. Wow, a bunch came. Oh, balance came here. Ooh, judgment. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's why they flip. Whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all. Okay. Let me look in here. Because we had. Let me see. Okay. Gotta keep myself situated here. Yeah, balance is normal. I thought so. This would be justice. Justice and judgment together. I'm trying to cover them so I don't get in trouble. With the Hierophant, the Ace of Cups, and the Empress. Are you kidding me? Wow. Wow, 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 and wow. So, this spiritual level up is not only going to bring emotional fulfillment, it looks like with this Ace of Cups balance, the Sovereign, it looks like emotional fulfillment as well as spiritual level up as well. Let me pull some of these, see if we can clarify with this tarot. Ten of Cups. And maybe that's why you're worried, because you want this. You've been wanting this. This is legacy building. This is happy relationships and enough money to work it all out as well. It's blossoming. It's all that in a bag of chips. And you don't see it yet. Well, of course you don't see it yet, because you're at the threshold, at the doorway. It's on the way though. Three of Wands is here with the Sovereign. And Justice shows up again here with this Crone of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles. So they're, like I said, just doing the work, this spiritual work, or maybe there's something that needs to be set up in the 3D for this stuff to come in. Look at here. Temperance is here with the Two of Cups. That Two of Cups, that really makes me think that this is, yeah, it do involve a relationship. High Priestess and the Ace of Wands is here. Woo! Yeah, the Ace of Wands is, yeah. Look at here. Three of Wands is here with the 10. So with the 10 of Wands, it is burdensome, but you're closing that cycle. There will be celebration on the other side of this. And it looked like it come with a sexy Ace of Wands scenario here. We got the Sun and the Queen of Cups. Oh, the Seven of Pentacles came back out here, which it did show up here. Where was it? Yep. Seven of Pentacles and Eight of Pentacles came out. I mean, the Eight of Pentacles clarified the Seven of Pentacles, but we're seeing the Seven of Pentacles here again with this Ace of Cups. So you planted the seed for something material as well as something emotional or romantic relationship wise. And with the Hierophant, we got the Four of Swords, this meditation point. With Judgment is the Seven of Cups. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And with Justice, we have the Star. Yeah, let me look at these. I want to read from the book from you a little bit, with especially for the major arcana. They have like the goddess meanings and something to say about all of these, but especially since it looks like you are calling in some love too. So we're gonna see here. Let me see what it says about the Nine of Swords in this particular deck, though. It said, "Damn, boo, are you okay? Or is everyone you love okay?" This card is no joke and represents mental and emotional pain that has the potential to manifest somatically. Your heart may be hurting, your skin may feel too tight, and it may be hard to breathe. Your suffering may be caused by the suffering of someone you love, which can be overwhelmingly painful to watch. The mind is powerful. You may know everything is fine, but if you're unbalanced, then reality contorts and bends to reflect that. Ain't that just what we finished talking about? Wow. I haven't looked at this deck, and I mean, as far as reading the messages in this deck for over a year, but wow. There aren't many positive words to say about the Nine of Swords, but every card has its silver lining. You're nearing the end of a journey of this suit, and although the distress may not be over, it's likewise not infinite. The only way out is through, and this is when connection, relationship, and devotion to the goddess of love can sustain you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, for the sovereign, this is the Emperor in the tarot, but it's called the Sovereign here. One of the most sacred visions of the goddess of love is the invitation to step fully into your heart's power, not as an act of control or dominance over another, but in sovereignty and commitment to the self. So it is that the Emperor transforms into she who internalizes her power and devotes it to something higher. The sovereign is also the virgin who is sexually independent, who works with Kundalini and erotic energy, whose devotion extends to the flesh. Here, the goddess of love is Vesta, the Roman goddess of hearth, home, devotion, and dedication, whose Vestal virgins guarded her eternal flame. Vesta represents sexuality turned inward into autonomy and personal power. This is your chance to reestablish a bridge to sexual expression in a way that is aligned with who you are. The Emperor is what turns us on. The Sovereign asks you to claim this force on your own terms. Devote your sexual energy to a higher purpose, a spiritual one. Reconnect to your sacred heart and sexuality outside of a relationship with one another, and honor this as an offering. Your erotic energy is yours, and you are your own lover first and foremost. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention with this, because I hear it a lot again, I'm active in the tarot community, so I read a lot of the comments and stuff for readers that I'm led to watch readings for. And there are a lot of women, and I'm glad to see this now, that in their healing phase, they've gone in and chosen celibacy. But there's a difference between chosen celibacy and just bitter abstinence. Understand that most likely you're not being called to celibacy for a lifetime. It's for a reclaiming of your personal power, a healing of your physical and your etheric or energetic womb, especially women who were blessed with a golden womb and didn't know it. And there are a lot of empaths out there, and you'll know if I say what I'm saying and it resonates with you instantly. You already know you were uncomfortable with your sexuality as a child. Well, not as a child, we ain't going there, but I mean, as a young woman, kind of sort of were uncomfortable with the types of men you drew into your life. As loving and pure as your heart was, and as loving and pure as the love you gave, you somehow always managed to attract, quite frankly, garbage into your life. You cast your pearls before swine. Very likely you had a golden womb and you didn't know it. You didn't know what to do with it, but it drew the wrong kind of men to you, like bees to honey, to flowers. And because of that, it put you in the crossfire for a lot of pain. You had men wanting to sleep with you that didn't even really like you, right? At the end of the day, because that's probably why you're still single. Just got tired of the nonsense and finally went, you know what, forget that. I'm going to heal. But guess what? That was the best thing you could have done. But just don't allow the bitterness from all of them frogs you had to kiss to make you convinced that you aren't eventually going to meet a prince. Because what was the purpose in kissing all them frogs if it won't go lead you to a prince? Don't let that be bitter. Heal, yes. Become your own best homie lover friend, yes. And understand that at the end of that healing road, there's probably a divine counterpart being lined up for you. Use that for real healing. Once you let go, you can stop being bitter and jaded or assuming that everyone's going to hurt you like the last ones did. And you'll be able to call that sacred, divine love and union into yourself. Because truthfully, I firmly believe that's what spirit is lining up for folks now. Not just because it's fun and it's a nice, beautiful, energetic payoff for those who faithfully did the work, but more importantly, in going into the age of Aquarius, this is a time for a resurgence of real, divine, sacred love or holy love and sacred sexuality to come back into the planet as a practice. Because the energy of love between two individual human beings, real love, when expressed properly, is one of the most powerful energy fields that two humans can create on this planet. We are infinitely or exponentially more powerful together in harmonious union when our frequencies are aligned, when we are evenly yoked, as the scriptures say, and know what to do with that, than we are when we're separate. And that's the only fault I have with religion, because I mean, especially with the Abrahamic religions are so misogynistic and so chauvinistic, I should say, that they truthfully cut off divine feminines from their true sacredness so that they can't really, yes, they are focused on uh, monogamy and men are controlling the relationship and a man can do this and a man can do that and a woman can't control, but she's never taught to fully embrace that divine feminine essence that she has. And so very often in those type unions, her golden womb goes to waste. She cannot cultivate and create from that energetic space that she's designed to create from, because she got a chauvinistic misogynist with his foot on her neck. Oh yeah, the union is blessed within the church or the imam or or the mosque or the temple or whatever. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about with us as energetic transmitting and receiving mechanisms. We have to be in balance. Like I say, you can't run a engine, you can't run a sports car down the road without it being properly tuned up. The pistons or whatever just don't fire properly. Same thing with females. Men want to run the show, but females have a gateway. Our womb is a portal to spiritual realms. That's one of the reasons why the powers that be have pushed so much amorality and promiscuity out there, because an imbalanced female cannot operate her portal properly. She just becomes a vessel for some misguided fool's pleasure and her own mental torture by doing that. That's enough of me on that, though. I got to get off of that subject, but y'all know I ain't lying. If you resonate with me and banging this far, you know I ain't lying. And Spirit is saying we've got to heal that and truly move past it so that we can step into this creation season with these divine counterparts, because we got spiritual work to do. We got to repair the Christ consciousness grid, y'all. We got to hold that down. And that energy, it ain't hard to do it, but we just have to heal and come into union with the cooperative component counterpart to do it. So the first step is the healing part. Now let's see what it says here about the Crone of Cups. And again, this is the King, and we'll put my finger over this. No one embodies wisdom and lived experience quite like the crones, and we can all use more of that in our lives. There's a special power to the Crone of Cups, whose experiences of love are vast and many. She has formed a nourishing and nurturing relationship with her heart and distilled this onto crystalline guidance on her journey. Turn inward and listen to your heart first and foremost before making a decision. The crones also represent legacy, ancestry, and family. They are the holders of the lineage, and when this card emerges, turn to those in your life who can support you through the trials and tribulations of the heart. This may mean someone in the material realm, like a grandmother, friend, lover, or teacher, but it's also a chance to wander into the watery realm of the astral for teachings. And again, that came here with the Justice card. Okay. Now, Seven of Pentacles with the Eight of Pentacles. Let's see. Since we're here, like I said, I don't use this deck often. I figure we might as well take a look real quick to see what each of these meant. Because since I was inspired to you pull from this deck. The hard work you put into building a life aligned with the goddess has taken on a life of its own. The Seven of Pentacles is a pause, a long sigh, followed by admiration for the work you've done. This shift in focus allows you to see how far you've come and to use this to inspire you to keep going. This card also reflects the sacred marriage in the material realm and the concept of mothering something that can sustain itself. It is the dedication put into a relationship, job, spiritual practice, or home that is then able to grow on its own. This is one of the alchemical formulas reflected when two energies coalesce into something that's greater than the sum of its parts. Look at what you've nourished and then step back and allow it to evolve. Wow. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Then we have the Two of Cups here. Get my finger in place for those. The Two of Cups holds, and this is Venus in Cancer. Which actually my sun sign is Cancer, but my Venus is in Cancer as well. So I love it. Um, the Two of Cups holds special significance in this deck because it is the light that permeates all existence when you are dedicated to being a living expression of love. It represents the beloved and the self, the goddess and her devotee, your shadow and your light. It is a blessing or validation of the love and experiences in your life, or that you want in your life. Become your own lover first, and then allow the world to fall in love with you. The Two of Cups can indicate romance or a deepening of a relationship through a commitment or rite of passage, like moving in together or saying I love you for the first time. When it shows up, embrace the soft and vulnerable parts of yourself, or turn to yourself for the love you long for. Wow. And then here with the Ace of Wands, we had the High Priestess. And this, of course, goddess Isis is represented here. And it corresponds to the moon. So we had that moon and the Ace of Wands, or the High Priestess and the Ace of Wands. But the High Priestess is the guiding force of this tarot, unlocking the secrets to the heart, to the sensual, to the realm of the divine feminine. She is Isis, the most revered goddess of ancient Egypt, who used magic to bring her husband Osiris back from the dead, making love to him to usher in a new eon of peace and prosperity through the birth of their magical child Horus. Isis is a prismatic goddess ruling over necromancy as well as love, family, the earth, and magic. Her multifaceted nature reflects the shadowy and light sides of the moon. The High Priestess and Isis share the initiatory knowledge of sex magic and how it can usher you into new ways of being, into new dimensions, into new selves, tracing the lineage of the ancient temple priestesses who worked with sexual ritual to channel the goddess. Listen to your intuition and value stillness before action. The High Priestess is a mirror to your magic and inner knowing. She parts the veil to the occult mysteries and is sharing this with you now. When you see this card, oh, it wasn't reversed, but they were saying if you see it in reverse, It's time for passionate decision making, but it was not in the reverse. I don't have this deck set for reversals. I'm trying to get us a little music going. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that'll work, I suppose. Now, from the High Priestess, let's see what this Ten of Wands situation was all about here. Because I know I didn't really want to look at no wand. Well, some wands are decent, but the 10, we really want to see that. But it's here, so let's take a look and see what it means in this particular deck. And it corresponds to Saturn and Sagittarius. To try too hard in love is to pull the teeth of fate. To struggle against your own power, your own grandeur, and your own potential is just as painful. The Ten of Wands is a mirror to the struggle, the last steps in recognizing your infinite majesty. The tens represent fulfillment in the material realm, so we're looking at a combination of vision and erotic desire manifested on this plane. The thing is, energy follows the path of least resistance, and the more tightly you hold on to how things should be, the harder it is to birth them into the reality. Go inward to see what you're clinging to that the goddess is asking you to release. We talked about that too. Sometimes it's just what's in our head. Yeah. When this card shows up reverse, you're already starting on the path of releasing. Okay. The Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is often cast in a negative light, and this is actually the moon in Libra. A shadow hanging on the liminal that comes between death and birth. Yet this card simply speaks of a need for stillness and inner knowing before making a decision. Slowing down and going inward isn't supported by our work culture or by Western society, even though pagans, witches, and indigenous peoples have. Moments of integration and rest are critical. The Two of Swords shows the gestation period. You're being asked to decide, and the thing is, no one can make this decision for you. To know the answer, you must turn inward. This card can feel intimidating when it comes to love and lust because the answers you find aren't necessarily the ones you want. But until you take time to listen, you'll remain in a stalemate. And here with the Sun, we had the Eight of Wands. Potential exists in a state of nothingness as much as it does in a state of kinetic chaos. This is one of the oldest expressions of the goddess. It's time to witness the energy of creation, expansion, and transformation at hand, no matter how overwhelming, and to direct and mold it accordingly. Perhaps you're feeling anxiety and fear triggered by lovers, family, or friends, anyone you share love with. Align your will and desires with that of something greater than yourself. This is the energy of sexuality in its most awakened and ethereal force, shimmering and ready for the taking. Wow. And the Empress. Represented here by Venus. And of course, I got to cover her up some too. The Empress is effortlessly aligned with the promise of the heart and pleasure. As Venus, the Roman goddess of sex, love, lust, glamour, victory, and desire, the Empress isn't just an expression of the goddess of love, she is the goddess of love. Venus sings of pleasure and sustenance, of desire as a guiding force, and of beauty as the language of the divine. Venus is an emblem of being a vessel for the divine erotic. Her fecundity represents something being birthed. She is a manifestation of light and body led guidance that leads to pleasure and connection. The Empress comes up during those fertile moments when the desires and experiences you seek are at the edge of manifestation. This is a time of inner transformation and the joys that come with bringing something into the world, whether this is a creative project, a relationship, a child, or a new way of practicing magic. When the Empress appears, remember to indulge in whatever connects you to the Venusian current. Drape yourself in delicious fabrics, kiss slowly, bask in nature, buy yourself flowers, or move your body as you breathe and make sounds. The Empress asks you to tap into the pleasure all around. So yeah, that's why I was called upon to pull from this deck because again, divine feminine high priestess goddess in the making. You are at a very pivotal point of initiation, transformation, crossroads. You about to birth something phenomenal. And you're being asked to just take a moment, gather your wits about you because you've done this before. You know how to do it. The world has us triggered with knee-jerk reactions and natural responses, and none of that's wrong. But your ancestors, the female guide, spirit, whatever you want to, everybody is rallying around you, saying you can let go of that and you can step into the hell of a you are called to be, dear sister. Oh yes, for sure. For sure, for sure. Ace of Cups is here. The Ace of Cups is always a boon because it represents romance about to bloom and love about to pour through from the heavens into the material world. It's a blessing from the unyielding potential of your heart. It's also the goddess of love and her expansive potentiality. The goddess is smiling down on your adventure, your new partnership, or desire for such, and more than anything, you. Whatever you desire is about to blossom. The potential is juicy and promising, so trust in your healing and intuition and in the guidance you receive from the goddess on how to navigate these waters. hmm And the Hierodule. This represents the goddess Tara, the wisdom of the goddess of love. Let me see, I think she's kind of sort of covered just in case. The wisdom of the goddess of love has remained alive through the body rather than any codified language, and the Hierophant signifies tradition and rulership, this knowing that passes from mouth to ear. When refracted through the Venusian current of Taurus, the Hierophant transmutes into the Hierodule, the servant of the divine who works with erotic energy to initiate and transform. Tara isn't an obvious goddess of love, yet in her 21 emanations, it is her love that is the guiding thread. Tara is the mother of compassion, one of the main Buddhas or wisdom keepers in Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhism, and she is called on in moments of pain and crisis. In Tantric Hinduism, Tara takes on a fierce and often terrifying guise, similar to Kali, and she takes part in left hand path tantric rituals where acts of transgression are performed as offerings. Tara is the purifying force of fire, the potency of words, the power of sacrifice, the intense love that calls you into the alchemical furnace. This card is about cultivating personal wisdom as a path to the goddess and the body as a vehicle to knowledge and gnosis. This is the path of the sex worker, the current of the high priestess. If the empress is the heart, the hierodule is this energy channeled through the flesh. Reattune yourself to the physical, to your sexuality, or that of the beloved or divine. Wow. And then we have Judgment. We got two more of these, and I do want to look at the tantric cards because I had planned on pulling them. So we will get there, especially since it mentioned them. The goddess represented here is the Holy Whore, and it is a fire element, or elemental correspondence is fire and spirit. This is judgment. The key of judgment, much like the Hierophant, is often seen in terms of Christianity and patriarchy, but this is the exoteric, the reawakening that happens when your beliefs about the possibilities of the universe and your fixed identities are sacrificed into the primal fire of existence. Judgment is the initiation that comes from the flesh. It's the rebirth that happens after releasing old beliefs around sexuality that are rooted in guilt and shame. Judgment is the power of the divine erotic channeled through the holy whore, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. The holy whore is Inanna and Ishtar, Babylon and the erotic votaries, and temple priestesses who have worshipped the erotic divine feminine over time. She is the power of the sexual mysteries to dissolve old identities through the fire power of orgasm and pleasure, to raise you as the phoenix from the ashes. The holy whore is turned on by all of existence. Judgment may signify the purification that comes before the ending of one cycle and the beginning of the other. This often feels painful, the soul wrenching contraction that happens before expansion. Judgment also indicates a new way of being, a soul transformation through the powers of sexuality. Consider an erotic experience or initiation that changed you. Judgment is the current of sexual magic that you can utilize, raise, and work with to alchemize your circumstances and reclaim your erotic power as service to the goddess of love and lust. And then right after that, we have justice. We got judgment there, and then that was followed with justice. I love it when those come together. And this is represented by the goddess Persephone. Kind of cover her up. She got a hip showing. To walk the path of the goddess means surrendering to the heart without losing the integrity of the mind, and the balance of the two opposing forces is one of the pillars of the Western mysteries. Persephone, Greek goddess of the underworld and spring, embodies this energy in her role as consort to Hades, the god of the underworld. Love is the raison d'etre in Persephone's mythos, as she descends into the underworld as an omen of compassion to those recently departed. Persephone is the shadow and the seed to Demeter, to the light to Demeter, the light and blossoming of the fruit, the earth mother. As Persephone dwells half the year in the underworld and half on earth as queen of spring, she embodies balance and all the qualities that make sex and love sacred. Balance honors your internal guidance when it comes to the matters of the heart. Accept the circumstances that led you to this moment while also finding peace where you are. Don't give up, but consider what's in balance before making the next decision. It's not a question of rejecting one experience or end of the spectrum, but integrating both. Embrace duality as non-duality and allow that totality to lead you through the temple of the heart. And it's interesting because, like I said, these last two cards, the Judgment came here with the Seven of Cups, which also indicates taking looking at the bigger picture or making those choices. And then Balance or Justice came here with the Star. All your dreams are coming true. So it's saying take a moment, be really sure, because you've become such a powerful manifester that whatever you're focused on is in the process of manifesting. So unless you want to continue stuck in uncomfortable memories of the past, Spirit is saying let go and let it happen, because it's happening, but how it plays out is completely up to you based on how you choose to move forward with your focus. Now we're going to pull, whoa, at the bottom of this deck, before I even shuffle, Queen Jezebel is here, Magnetic Royal Witch. And you might not think that that's a good thing, but like I say, as far as manifestation, drive, energy, and passion is here with Mars. Eve is here, divine feminine awakening. Separation, division, and integration. Like I said, it's coming apart to come together kind of situation here. What else do we have? And conjunction, becoming whole again. Like I said, coming apart to come together. Examining duality to get back to non-duality and ultimately to unity. Now, one of the things that I wanted to segue into looking at here was the Tantric Dakini cards. So we're going to do it. This reading is too beautiful and too important not to, because I kind of figured, like I said, the Goddess of Love cards, these decks were not written by the same people and not necessarily meant to go together, but they kind of sort of do go together. So I just wanted to see how they play with each other. Well, ain't no I wanted to see when I sit down to do a reading, the decks that speak to me. I know Spirit and my tarot guides be having a little something to do with that, especially the way these decks are talking with each other today. So we're going to see. Guardian is here, so you do have protection over this worry situation. Nine of Swords, 10 of Cups. There's a reason to worry if 10 of Cups is on the line, but you do have a very fierce spiritual protector here with the Guardian. And Shiva, the Pillar of Fire, is here with this Sovereign card, or yeah, that's the Emperor. And yeah, it's a powerful spiritual protection. And the Joker. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The Joker is here with this King of Cups. The 7 and 8 of Pentacles. Look here, way through. It's a key to all you're looking for. I don't even need to read those, so that's a good thing. 2 of Cups and the Temperance card is here. What was that? Oh, that one definitely jumped. Holocaust. I definitely want to see what in the world. Okay, yes. Can't believe I did that. Let me see something here. I kind of sort of know what those mean, but I just want to make sure nothing jumps out that we need to talk about real quick. Yeah, the Guardian is a most potent form of protection. Mahakala is the devourer of all the enemies of truth, burning up all illusion and both swallowing and creating karmas, the patterns of destiny. This card indicates the presence of a guardian angel at the area of the subtle body where it's located. So in the first card in the Tree of Life is located at the navel. And so it denotes a guiding presence. Yeah. Now the Pillar of Fire, 32. This card represents a moment of illumination, a revelation, and understanding of the miraculous nature of all things in their presence. It's the vision of the end of the world, the consuming pillar of fire, a cosmic phallus without beginning or end, the impregnator of the world to come. It indicates a positive turning point in the life of the questioner, a highly charged moment defined by the place of this card in the tree of life. And here it would be at the spleen. So at the spleen center, the indication is of a healthy digestion assisting the questioner. Not sure why but then again, if you got like I said, as the emperor that is on the verge of this movement, I guess you do have to kind of stay centered in that. So digestion would represent that healthy flow or being able to process all of these energies that are coming through during this point. And of course, the Joker correlates to the Fool card in the tarot, so we definitely don't need to read that. Way through the self contains all things as the microcosm to the macrocosm, and it is within the self that the key is located. This is a highly auspicious card suggesting that the questioner is really involved in the search for truth. It indicates the resolution of a problem, the receiving of occult teaching, spiritual guidance, and the attainment of goals. At all positions in the tree of life, the interpretation is resolution. With this key, do not hesitate to act. And this is what came here with the Seven of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, which is about doing that spiritual work, but realizing that it is within you. So now the Two of Cups, Ace of Wands situation. With that one, we had Holocaust. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Holocaust was there. Now 16. The necessity to change one's standpoint, to take decisive dramatic action. Such action is basically on the self, to rid it of all confusion caused by ego motivation, to free oneself from all worldly attachments and securities. Also, this card suggests an event which reverberates on a wider level of public catharsis, bringing about a general change of consciousness. A person receiving this card should therefore consider that all events in the outside world are but reflection of inner needs and desires and devotions, and that shock tactics can be conspicuously employed so that one becomes aware of being the cause of a situation as well as receiving the effect. In such a way, one can mirror the times and transcend all events compromising this Kali Yuga, the dark age when materiality, lack of moral fiber, and general apathy prevail. This card is understood according to the location in the Tree of Life. At the heart center, it indicates a sudden emotional change. And 5 is actually at the base. So, but there is a need for recognizing the changes, I guess. We'll see. 6. Let me see. There's Temperance and the High Priestess. And what comes with that in the 6? Ooh, centering the presence. Let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the rest of these too. Let me see. 7, 8. 9. I didn't mean to do that. Whoa. Okay. Guess I had no choice but to take that one. Let's see. Yep. So now we have card 63. Centering or the present goes with Temperance and the High Priestess. Concentration on the potency of living in the present, an understanding of the self's position outside of time coming through spiritual practices, and the developed intuition. At the base region in the Tree of Life chart, this card shows that by centering on past problems to do with the world, the power of transcendence will be brought to the present. At the heart, which is where it is, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, 6 is at the heart. Yeah, it's at the heart for you. The heart, the oracle tells of fulfillment. So yeah, in the head, there's strong indication of achievement of desires in the present through the power of cooling lunar wisdom essence. But this appears in the heart center on if I were laying this card along the Tree of Life with the way that I've pulled it. So there is a fulfillment coming here. Now 7 is at the throat area, like a bubble. Let go of all preconceptions. Open up the mind to its original, to its original and spontaneous nature. Treasure all fleeting moments of joyful ecstasy, so strengthening the potency of such experiences, yet without holding on to any form. Do not cling to the world or to its multicolored manifestations, both within and without. And this, let's see, it's located at the throat. It tells of insight, inspiration, and a sudden moment of recall. And now we get allied. We go back to the spiritual help here with the Two of Swords and the Sun. You got a powerful decision to make, or actually it's the Two of Swords and the Queen of Cups. I believe the Sun went over here with the Eight of Wands, but ally is here, and that's position. That's at the throat as well. The person who draws this card has been given this creature as an ally to help overcome lower orders of consciousness. The ally is a form of the basic raw Kundalini force, the serpent energy of the sexual center at the base region of the tree of life. However, this energy is here expressed in an untransformed state. The ally card is to be understood as a psychic tool to be used when situations of negative outside influence need to be overthrown. If regressive or destructive aspects of the self need to be caught or burnt up, the drawing of this card will indicate the help is on the way. One should never be afraid of the ally, else he will gain ascendancy. The ally is one of the guardians of the inner mandala, the mystic body, as a circle of protection, and should be meditated on as such and befriended. The location of this card in the Tree of Life reading indicates the nature of the ally's influence. At the base, it indicates the raw unconscious. In the heart, the need to overcome fear. Now, in this case, it's at the throat, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's a need to clear your throat chakra and speak your truth. 9 is also at the throat, and we got blow your mind here. And that came along with the Eight of Wands. The time has come to change your point of view, open up to new channels in the mind, and do not allow yourself to become entrenched in the old and habitual patterns of thought. The card suggests that the doorway through to the collective unconscious is perhaps to be entered through the storming of the barricades by acting spontaneously and without reference to predictable patterns of behavior. Do not be restricted by your own petty limitations. When this card is located at the base center, it suggests a feeling of detachment from the world and entry into the dimension of spontaneity. Now let's see, it's at the throat. When located in the head, it presents a sudden spiritual release, a transcendent experience attainable by acceptance of the need to change one's restrictive attitude to life. In the heart, it tells of a strong desire to be removed from an emotional entanglement or a carefree attitude, depending on the nature of the other four influences. So, yeah, it's somewhere between the heart and the head because it's kind of in the throat. And then finally, here we have with Justice, we have 43, Mount Meru, center of the universe. A desire to forsake worldly ambition for the spiritual path, disillusionment with worldly values and compromises, a reevaluation of one's position, possibly leading to the desire to withdraw from society. Mount Meru is also the symbol of rewards coming from work on oneself. Rewards coming from work on oneself. Located at the base position of the Tree of Life, it suggests impending physical travel. At the navel, it denotes a strongly centered sense of identity coupled with a firm will and the ability to adapt without loss of integrity. In the heart, the indication is of emotional incompletion, and at the head location, it represents uplifted consciousness and spiritual resolution or the achievement of goals again. And in this is in the head position. So just like we said before, it took a long way around to verify and check it by the cards because I wasn't sure on the book meanings, but that's exactly where we're at. Spirit is telling you, do that little last bit of buttoning up. There is something there that needs to be taken into further consideration, something you thought you may have let it go, but looks like you got a little bit of tweaking left to do on that because there's something in your energy signature that you may think you've let go, but it's still putting a little bit of a hitch in your giddy up. And like I say, it's easy enough to resolve though, so it's no worries there. It can be handled. That's not the problem. It's just the main thing is acknowledging it and actually handling it. Now we're gonna look at got some self care, conscious spirit, and then there's some I forgot what this is called. I think it's called sacred self care. I'm not sure. Yeah, and then we'll be out of here with that. These are basically some affirmations that may help us in this journey. I journey within to meet my higher self and to find true happiness. It's a transformation card. Celebrate life. I celebrate every day by honoring and respecting all life on Mother Earth. Get one more from here. Actually, we got a couple more because they flip together, so I will take them. Got the throat chakra here. I speak my truth and encourage others to speak theirs. Gratitude. I am grateful for everyone and everything in my life and the lessons each brings. And spirit guides. I open my heart to my guides and trust in the wisdom they share with me. And then we're going to pull from Holy Woman here. Oh, that's way too many there. I think that's the one. Okay. You can learn so much from each other. Stop feeding energy into bullshit. Don't feed energy into behaviors that don't align with your beliefs and desires. Big one. We can, like I say, we frame that one, freeze frame it or something. Cause yeah, that's for all of us. Everything is meant to be the way it is. It will be fine. Live your life and don't wait for him to do something. If he doesn't text or call you, you wouldn't want him anyway. And that's the truth. I saw something online that hurt my spirit as a woman the other day. And I think if y'all are in the online space on YouTube, you probably do right now. There's a very viral interview of a man and woman. I can't remember their name. I think their last name is Steele or something. He's a preacher. And she was literally sitting up there. They giving their testimony about how their marriage lasted so long. And she's literally outlining how she allowed this man to walk all over her for decades. He insulted her, told her he didn't want her, cheated on her, did everything imaginable, and she hung in there talking about God wanted her to do that. No, he didn't. You just made a fool of yourself. No, we don't have to do that. We walk away from bullshit over here. And we understand if he wanted to, he would. We don't have to force, beg, cajole, worry, aggravate, pretend, or nothing else to make nobody do what we want to. A woman that stands in divine feminine energy, that is tapped into her goddess power, understands what she brings to the table. She don't need no scrub buddy to ask her what she brings. She brings a golden womb and the manifestational ability that comes along with that, regardless of her physical fertility. And for that reason and that reason alone, a man who appreciates her worth will do his level best to keep her peaceful and happy, because that's when her little manifestation engine gets the revving and she can do what she do. She don't need nobody to hell hack her to death. We don't do that over here. But I know you know that. I know you know that, divine feminines that I'm talking to at this collective. We'll be alone forever before we let some, like I say, some scrub daddy do that kind of nonsense. No, we don't play them games at all, at all. We're gonna take it out to go out the door with some sacred self-care. See what we're gonna do for ourselves here. Get a little bit of encouragement from spirit. Let's see. Ooh, there you go on the ground again. I'm gonna get it though. Get one. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to reach this thing and it went so far under the desk. Good Lord. And no, I'm not editing this out. Okay. First off, we have breathe deeply, breathe big, let it all in. Expand your fabulous belly. Who cares if your jeans feel too tight? Here's an idea: buy a roomier pair. Deep, full breaths invigorate you. They release sadness and allow ecstasy to flood in. Pause, inhale a long, slow, big, delicious breath. Exhale. Remember, whenever the going gets tough, take a deep breath and trust that you are capable of greatness. And then we have you are loved. You are enough just as you are, and you are loved. If you don't have a model for love, imagine yourself as a child. Perhaps you have a favorite picture of yourself as an adorable 5-year-old. Look into your own sweet eyes and acknowledge just how special you are. That child inside still needs your tenderness, and so does the adult you. Please don't abandon yourself. Instead, tap into the ocean of love inside. And last but not least, risk it. Great things are born from those brave enough to fly, those who are willing to risk failure. Your dreams require action and you're ready to make a move. Remember, you have nothing to lose. Even if you flop, you'll receive valuable insight. So get off your butt and take a leap. Go for it. Absolutely. I love it. And we're going to leave it right there, family. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not, and share the video with anyone else who could use the encouragement. I love you. I appreciate you letting me take this time today to read for you. And until next time, family, peace and blessings to you. And again, happy Mother's Day to all divine feminines. I love you so much, family. Talk to you later. Namaste.